Literally came down the mountain to a trailhead parking lot. A guy that I was hiking with, I looked at him. I'm like, man, do you hear a cat? And he's like, yeah, I hear a cat. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thought I wasn't smoking meth for a minute. And then I'm like, I'm gonna go down there and see if I can find him, because we kind of started to hike up and out where we dropped our packs. Went down in that trailhead area parking lot, and he was right underneath the car tire, crying. And bent down, gave him some scratches. I was like, man, if it wasn't for me hiking the trail, I'd take you home. And from there, I walked away, and he just followed me up up back to my pack and up the trail. That night when we got to the shelter, after hiking all that way, gave him some tuna from a tuna packet, and he kept walking with me until I got to the Knock, which is an Athala outdoor center in Bryson City, North Carolina. Then from there, started riding a little carrier in the front of my pack. He walked. It wasn't until after I started feeding him that he decided that he wasn't going to walk anymore. And then that's when I had to put him in the carrier. But he did get a good 100 miles, don't get me wrong. 100 miles of hiking. Every day I'm carrying him. He runs around at the campsites, which is pretty cool, or the shelters wherever I stay. Hunts the mice. He's somewhat social with people, but he's not. Like, for the most part, if anything, he'll come and hang out with me. He'll get my tent and a sleeping bag, or if I was staying in the shelter, but I haven't been staying in the shelter much. But yeah, he just runs around all night, climbing on the roofs of the shelters, all sorts of places. I started hammock camping back in the day. Not back in the day, but when I first started. Then I switched to a tent here by the time I got to Pine Grove Furnace. I switched to a tent. He used to put holes in my tent, but that's because people have put him in my tent when they should not have touched my cat to begin with. I always leave it unzipped at the bottom so he can go in and out as he pleases. When it's at night and it's real buggy, I'll zip up my tent and he'll cry when he wants in, and I just unzip it and he runs in. But I've had one person actually put him in my tent, and others force me to keep him in my tent. And honestly, when they force me to keep him in my tent, I don't care. I just let him out and run around. Even being in a state park, there was one lady that was like, the ranger's like, well, he needs to be on a leash. I'm like, it's a cat. It's not a dog. So he'll try and jump up to the screen mesh and he put holes in it. Let's put it that way. And then another gentleman, when I was camping at his house, he's like, you need to keep him in the tent. I'm like, I can't keep him in the tent. He's going to tear it up. So I let him run free, went to go into town and resupply. I come back and he's like, well, I put your cat in the tent. I'm like, why did you do that? Because now there's in all of my mesh, there's nothing but holes. Maybe by Manchester Center is the area I was in, or the town that I ran into that day. Woke up in the morning, heard rain coming, and he doesn't like rain, so I had him in his harness, strapped him to my bag, and then try packing up my tent as fast as possible. But I was getting nailed by mosquitoes. He was crying because it started downpouring on us. And he slipped his harness and ran off into the woods. And I'm like, crap. I'm out of food. I was supposed to resupply today. All this kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But one thing I learned is, if I can't take care of myself, I'm definitely not going to be able to take care of him. So when he ran off, I sat around for a little while. He didn't come back, so I knew he hunkered down. I ran into town, resupplied, stayed in town for the evening. Next morning, went back out to where he was, which was, I think, maybe 5 or 6 miles. Just meowed and he came running. He doesn't run off like that. Even at night, he can run up to almost 5 or 6 miles away from wherever I'm at, and he still comes back.
His food, you know how much extra you're carrying?
3.5 pounds with his food, and then he weighs 10 pounds and is gaining weight, so he's always going up. But it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. Well, no, these days a bag of food might last a week. When I first got him, a bag of food would last a good 2-3 weeks. But it was still it sucked because you'd have 3 pounds of this big old bulky bag of cat food, and it's slowly dwindling down. Now it just he eats enough to where it. People were trying to give me canned food, which I appreciate, especially with the supporters and donors. But once I started getting overloaded with canned food, I'm like, I don't even carry wet food for myself other than tuna packets at night. And that, I don't even like carrying those. If I could afford freeze-dried, I'd be carrying freeze-dried every day. 2 days out from Damascus, And I was sitting in a shelter by myself one night, and I was like, you know what, screw it. It's still early in the season, but a lot of people are starting to get out on trail. So I joined this Facebook group called Appalachian Trail Class of 2025. And all I did was upload a photo of Smokie and I. Said, hey, you know, my trail name's Ikea. This is Smokie. You know, we're hiking the AT this year. Can't wait to see you. And went to bed. Next day, I lost my phone on March 14th, meaning it was either 13th, 12th, or whatever when I posted. But basically, I called my mom for her birthday on March 14th. Went to go and put my phone in my pocket in the track shorts I had. Went down the side of a cliff, and the phone fell out of my pocket. This is the second time losing a cell phone on trail. So I was like, whatever, I'm not going to replace it. Fast forward to the middle of April, a buddy catches up to me that I had separated off of, hiking with, because he took a zero and I just kept going. He runs into me like a month later and he's like, bro, you need to get a cell phone. I'm like, why? He's like, well, for one, we couldn't get a hold of you, but your post on Facebook like went viral. I'm like, whatever that means. He's like, no, dude. He's like, you have like 10,000 plus likes on this post. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I eventually went and got a cell phone like a week or two later, and sure as crap, I logged into my Facebook profile and I looked at the original post, or my last post, and it was like 10,000 plus likes. So from there, I just posted up photos of Smokie and I, where we're at, what we're doing, how we've been doing. And then by the time I got Pine Grove Furnace, a friend of mine, Bookie, reached out to her to just say hello, and she's like, you might need to create his own Facebook page. So I did, and that thing blew up overnight. Like, I literally, like, hey, this is Smokie the Trail Cat's page, yada, yada, yada. And it went from, like, maybe 1 or 2 likes to 3,500 the next day. Okay. My Facebook page is now public because of his page. It kind of forced it, and then at the same time, now my Instagram, I have an Instagram, but his page does not. So I started February 1st on the AT, and taking some time off of it due to injuries, done some work for stays in different places, but I'm just trying to complete it at this point. Like, gotta focus on the goal. Even with all the social media crap and all this stuff, like, that's just a distraction at this point. But I gotta get it done, because I don't know what's coming after this. People want me to write a fucking book. I don't want to write no damn book. People want me to sign a movie deal. I don't want to sign a movie deal. People want a TV show. I don't want a TV show. Like, people are trying to get me to do all this other crap, and I just want to fix myself. I don't want to smoke no more, and meaning like cigarettes, that's been my biggest challenge, because it's like a little bit of stress and get around a bunch of people you don't like. Give me a cigarette or I'm going to start smacking people. But at the end of the day, I got to do what's best for myself and Smokie. Yeah. And right now it's it's finishing the trail. After the fact, maybe a home, maybe a job, those things will come around. The tramley I'm with at the moment, they're all pushing for September 11th because we're a bunch of military veterans. I could give 2 craps if I get there on September 11th or not. It's just every day, like, I just need to go for a walk in the woods every day. And that's where I've been more fortunate than most, because everyone's like, I've had some good friends that they're all on visa deadlines, or they got to be back to work at this time, or and I'm one of the few out there that can be like, I have no deadline. I could show up to Catan in December 27th, you know what I mean, and not care. But is that realistic? No. But everyone says we're about a month out from finishing, which makes sense, because 300 miles isn't slowly going. 300 miles is about a month. But doing 100 miles a week, that's 3 weeks. We're at mile 1850 tonight at the shelter. And by the time we're out of the whites, it's going to be mile 1900 with 300 to go. So, yeah, I had no expectations of bringing an animal on this trip. And I don't recommend it to anyone. I really don't. I don't recommend anyone bringing a dog. Granted, I have a cat. I don't recommend it. Because I would have never just picked up Smokie, from a shelter or whatever else and started hiking the trail with it. The only reason why he's with me is he was starving. And that cat would have been possibly dead if he didn't like follow me and take him with me. But I do not recommend it to anyone, just in case like someone asks, because I have like one family in here that they're like, oh, our daughter's cat likes to be outside. That's cool, man, but it's not like you're just going out there for a day and then coming back. You know what I mean? It's consistently over and over, and then at the same time, the added logistical issues to it at the same time. Like the hostels. A lot of hostels don't like that cat being around. Hotels, that's even a hard thing. Like, I don't even know if this hut, if I got a room or a bunk here, if he could be inside. Yeah, he rides in a carrier up front. He stays in that carrier all day. Like, he doesn't ride up top. He doesn't like being up there. I always leave him off leash at a shelter. Because at least he doesn't chase wildlife, other than the mice and the nuisance animals that every hiker complains about. What's funny is, this is one thing I've noticed about animals on trail. Meaning, a dog or a cat. Because apparently, allegedly, Smokie's one of the only few cats. A dog shows up, everyone gets mad. Because of how the dogs usually are. Meaning they're barking at everything, they chase away wildlife, and the owners are like, oh my god, it's a nice dog. Well, then why is he barking at me and in my face? And then most owners don't have control over their dogs. Mm-hmm. But then every time Smokie shows up to the shelter, everyone's like, oh my god, a fucking cat's here. Do we have, the mice problem here or there? And it's, I guess, is what it is. I can't be partial to Smokie or a dog, but at the same time, Smokie doesn't go run up to people. He doesn't want to generally be around people. He knows that my tent and my sleeping system is where he's meant to be half the time. Everyone will be like, oh my god, I want to pet him, and he'll just book it. He'll book it, and until everyone just forgets about him there, then he'll come back to the camp and be walking around. But yeah, he doesn't look for anyone else's attention. He doesn't even want my attention at night half the time.